From Arizona to Washington and all the way to Georgia, welcome back to the Coast to Coast Catch-Up. We're just two childhood friends who grew up together, chase sports dreams, and now live on opposite sides of the country. We created this podcast to catch up, unpack real life, and share the ride with you. From deep conversations to lessons we're still learning, laughs to life pivots, it's the kind of catch-up everyone needs. Abe, how are we doing, man?
Good, man. Pretty pumped. Been in Arizona for a while. Just so pumped. It's been basically almost a month since we kind of did just like a regular kind of catch up, and for that I'm pretty excited about it. So, without further ado, man, I'd love to get into what you've been doing, what you've been up to, what the Seattle crew has been up to. So, with that, what's going on, man? Let's just catch
Yeah,
up.
yeah. It's something cool that we've been, or that Alyssa and I did the other day. We went to a hockey game. I've never been to an NHL game. Have you been to one before?
Yeah, I went to a Wild game in college on like a random Tuesday, and going to school in Minnesota, I went to every level of hockey game in when I was in college. So I went to high school, college club, regular college, and an NHL game. And let me tell you, dude, the NHL games, they're freaking awesome. They're so awesome. And I think I got spoiled going to the one in Minnesota, like the Wild being, like the hockey state of it all. But they're a blast. I think hockey is one of my favorite sports to watch in person and even on TV. I think it's great.
Yeah, that's awesome. And in college, we had a hockey team as well, so I went to some of those games, and it's super fun. I've never seen it before being from Arizona, but um, it's not played too popular. It's not too popular down there. Yeah, super fun. It's super easy to track. You yell when your player hits someone else, and then vice versa. It's good though. So yeah, we went to a hockey game, NHL game. The company I work for has season tickets, and so they just bought two of them. And you know, you go to the headmaster of the tickets and you ask, "Hey, is this date free?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure, you can have it." So went down. We're like 5 rows back from the ice. Super nice seats, right front, like right in the front, right behind the opposing bench. So it was fun in that aspect. We also had there's like a little spot and you go into it and it has like coffee, it has tea, it has like a little bit of smoked meat, some little brat or not brats, but I'm thinking of the German word bracken, uh, rolls, and yeah, it's funny, but it was super fun, super nice stadium. I think it's a newer team because we went in there and it was just everything was super nice. It's I think it's called the Climate Pledge Arena or something similar to that. And so they have like a whole wall of just green vegetation growing on the walls, and everything's new and very clean, and it's a fun stadium, and it was a super fun environment. They turn the lights off before the game, and they have like it's the Kraken, so they have like a tentacle coming out of the ice. Like they drop that down on the ice when the guys skate out, and it was super fun. A lot of yeah, just a great time. A weird thing about it was the same night of the World Series. The Dodgers playing the who did they play?
They played the Toronto Blue
That's
Jays.
right. That's right. America versus Canada. Yeah, so when hockey has what is it? 3 periods. So they have two, I don't know what they call them. Not half
Intermissions.
times or yeah, intermissions. That's how you should say it. Yeah, they have two intermissions. So, as soon as that intermission went, everyone ran and found the nearest TV to watch the baseball game. So that was really funny. Just, going back and forth. You're at a live sports event. You'd think everyone would be locked in and engaged. And it seemed like half the people were like just excited to leave and go watch the baseball game. Um, it being game 7. So we, we were at intermission between the game, and we were watching with uh, there's a bunch of fans, but there's two people in front of us, one dude in the Kraken jersey and one dude in the Rangers jersey. That was the other team that was playing for the hockey, and they're both rooting for the Dodgers, and they're bonding over it. And they're both like, oh, every hit or like every out, they're both going back and forth, and like they're kind of becoming buddies, even though they don't know each other. Both rooting for the Dodgers, and eventually the dude in the Kraken jersey looks over and goes, "Oh, you're a Rangers fan. I didn't even realize that. Like, what's up, man? Like, fun game, isn't it?" And the Rangers like, "Yeah, what game are you talking about?" And the Kraken fans like, "The Dodger game, of course. What other game could we be talking about? At a live event for a Kraken game?" So I just thought that was a hilarious interaction, and um, the Kraken lost, but the Dodgers won. So it was a fun night, and just yeah, something different for Alyssa and I being to a hockey game, and definitely want to do that again because it was a great time.
No, man, that's so cool. It's so cool to hear like every aspect of that story because one, it's so cool to like it's tickets that you know you would never go buy for yourself, and you know you never go out of your way to go do it, but to have that like, kind of through the company and to do it and kind of get wined and dined for a night. What day of the week was it? Was it a weekend or was it like day
It was a Saturday. It was
Saturday? Okay.
Saturday. Yeah, dude. It was super nice, but also it felt like I don't deserve this. Like, if
Yeah.
I was like a kid and I loved hockey, like that would be the seat. I almost felt like I want to find a kid in the stands like who has top row and like switch them just because like is it, hockey doesn't mean anything to me. It's my second or first ever NHL game, probably fifth game I've ever seen of hockey, and I couldn't name one player out on the rink. So it was just like I felt bad, like I don't deserve to be here. But it was fun.
I think about that all the time with like because corporate, in the golf and even like I know like the football scene's kind of becoming more like this, but like a lot of sporting events becoming so corporate now instead of like like the everyday fans and like even like the Super Bowl. I think about the Super Bowl. I remember when it was down here in Arizona years ago when it was like the Seahawks versus the Patriots. The infamous like 1 yard line interception. But I had cousins from Seattle come down to go watch that game, and they were so hyped about it. And obviously, they made it happen. They came to stay with us. They paid all the money to fly and tickets for the game, and they loved it. It was awesome. They had the time of their lives. But nowadays, it's like you just hear less stories about that, and it's all like crazy expensive, sponsorships and kind of like A-listers going all that stuff, which is I don't say great, but like I mean that's just kind of what it's became. So it's cool to like I feel you. It's like as the everyday fan of all these sporting events, and I just like sports in general. It's like like I don't like being front row. It's awesome. I do enjoy it. Like I'm never gonna turn this down, but I do feel you, and it's like man, like I can make some kids like life right now. Some 6-year-olds like he would remember these ice glass the freaking box seats or whatever. Um but no, it's still cool. Like I mean, again, I guess that's why corporations have them too, right? Is to take care of their employees, and that's exactly what your company did. They're like, hey, you know, we have these available, please take them and go have a great night on a Saturday night. And again, it's probably something that you and Alyssa wouldn't normally do, but for that opportunity to go watch hockey and again, like I think it's a great sporting event, one that you don't normally go to. So I think there's an appreciation for that. And so it sounds like you guys had a blast at that. And then like with those two random guys, like I mean, talk about sports bringing people together. Like how cool is that? Like not that Kraken and Rangers are rivals, but they're certainly rooting for the other team to do bad. It's like you're just watching probably some tiny screen behind a counter. It's like oh heck yeah, like like whether it was a strikeout for the Dodgers or something like that. So same thing too. Like I remember watching the Seahawks game and some primetime game must have been, and I think the Mariners were in the championship game, and everyone in the Seahawks game like during like in between plays would like have their phones like watching the game, and all the announcers knew it. And it's like, hey, here's a live reaction of them finding out this happened in the game, and everyone's like all upset, and it's just like, how could you be at a Seattle game with it's like week 8, and you've got your Mariners trying to go to the World Series. So cool. A lot of sports buzz, honestly, in Seattle. With Seattle doing well, the Mariners did great this year. Hockey season's just kind of getting in the way. Do you feel that energy in the area? Or is there a buzz of like, oh my gosh, Seattle's 8 and whatever. They're second in the NFC West right now. Like, I would say, there's good hopes for Seattle this year, but I don't think anyone thought that they'd be this good. So is that being talked about? Can you feel it in Seattle?
Absolutely. Especially with the Mariners. Like postseason, everyone was talking about it. Like, oh, what are you doing tonight to watch the game? And like, it's game two. Like,
Yeah,
but everyone was talking about the Mariners in the playoffs, and um, there's definitely talk. I mean, the Seahawks are huge, and everybody talks about them, but it wasn't to the same. It's not to the same level yet that the Mariners in the playoffs were. Um,
yeah,
the buzz was so fun, and I wouldn't say I've turned into a Mariners fan just because I'm up here, and it was the same thing going to Wisconsin. Like, just the energy that everybody has is contagious. Like, it's so fun to be
yeah,
in the middle of it, whether you're a fan before it or not. You just almost root for it so that everyone around you is happy, and it's like just a good vibe. So definitely a huge buzz for the Mariners. The Seahawks, there's definitely talks, but I feel like everyone's kind of like worried to get too excited. It's not playoff
yeah.
time yet, and I'm sure that buzz will be back when they make the playoffs and when they're playing games. But yeah,
I-
definitely more fun. And baseball's fun because it's like after work, someone's gonna go home and watch the World Series. Like, but
yeah,
football's Sunday, so all the people I see that are new are generally during the week. So the weekends I usually just kind of stick at home or spend with my roommates. So the buzz was fun for baseball, just to be talking about what we're doing at work, or like, yeah, I know we had a late meeting one day and there was a dude that was watching it under his desk, and I just kept going, what's the score, what's the score?
yeah.
And so it was fun.
No, that's awesome, man. There's something about it too. Like, I mean, I remember going to like Green Bay one day, and like, obviously, like you're in Green Bay, like you're not like, and like driving there, everyone's like all decked out in pack of gear. They're all going to one place, but like I can only imagine, even like walking around like Kirkland, or walking around going to get groceries. Like, there's just way more like Mariners jerseys and hats and all this kind of stuff. And like, I don't care where I'm at. I could be in like, if I was ever in like Philadelphia on like a game day, or like a deeper in the playoffs of football or something like that, and like seeing basically everyone kind of come together. It's like, hey, like we believe that if we cheer hard enough, like we're gonna make an impact, and like our team's gonna do well. And it's like how can you not be like hyped about that, even as like a fan of, not a fan of that team? Like, I just think it's so cool to see people kind of band together on one thing, and especially like that, and with baseball being so based off like salary caps and all that kind of, or not salary caps, but kind of having a ton of money, to see Mariners kind of a smaller team like kind of kick ass. It's awesome. I think it's cool. Obviously the Dodgers did win the World Series, spoiler alert, but like it's cool. So that's pretty awesome. But that's pretty awesome that you have to be able to go to that hockey game and kind of have that night with Alyssa, and yeah, kind of experience all that kind of stuff that a lot of kids hope to dream. Like, a lot of kids watching the World Series. I was in Virginia Beach, over Halloween weekend, and I just remember the announcer saying like, oh, like every kid dreams of this, of like Game 7 World Series, and it's just like, yeah, like I dreamt of that as a kid. I played baseball for like 4 or 5 years, like that's it. And so it's cool. It's cool to think about like that, like how many kids are actually thinking about, you know, when they're pitching, to their dad in the backyard, like, oh, loaded count, 2 outs, guy on for, like, it's just going through those scenarios. So sports are cool, man. I mean, I think that's what drove us together. Obviously, it's what drives a lot of people, but sports in my life will never not be cool. So,
Yeah, definitely a lot you can learn from it.
so what else, man? What else you been doing? You talked about Kraken game. Have you done any like Friendsgiving stuff like that?
Yeah, Thanksgiving is coming close, so this past weekend we had a Friendsgiving. So we had, obviously, our roommates Mac and Michaela there, and they have some friends. Before we moved out, Michaela was good friends with this girl that she went to high school with, and so we invited them over, and just hung out, had some good food, played some games, and they have a little baby. So, Alyssa was getting her, um, what do you say, fix of holding the baby and all that. And, you know, that that's fun. But it was a great time, just to hang out with them. And, um, Sky, the husband of Michaela's friend, is super funny and fun to hang out with. And, we just laughed and had a great time. So,
How much is kids getting brought up with you and Alyssa? I know you kind of mentioned that like you guys want to have kids when you do get back to Arizona, but is it something that she's, I don't see like constantly bringing up, but like periodically she's been bringing up or mentioning, or like, are you having to constantly like chop down this baby fever that she has, or and do you have it? Seeing that kid, was it like, oh man, like I like, you know, I guess like what's your thought process on all that? Are you chopping your own baby fever down, or you're like, oh, like in time, like you know, it will come?
that's a good question. I wouldn't say either of us, are like needing a
Itching,
kid right now.
yeah,
Um, but I would say, I probably bring it up more than Alyssa does. I wouldn't say that like I have a fever or anything, but I'd say I have like a timer in my head. Like I,
okay,
you know, um, there's a lot of talk of it, just like what is the timing? Can we have one in an apartment? We're now thinking maybe we'll get an apartment instead of a house. Um, I don't know. There's a lot of decisions to be made. We're moving, we're having the wedding. That's a lock.
yeah,
We're moving back to Arizona. That's a highly likely lock. But other than that, when we get back to Arizona, are we going to live in an apartment? We're living in a house. Either way, are we good to have a kid? We've kind of determined, yeah, either way, we're happy with the kid. But then like, do we want to stay there? I flirted with the idea of going and playing in Australia. Um, I don't know. A lot of options, but obviously it can't be both. You can't be moved to Australia and have a kid. That doesn't
yeah,
necessarily work. So, um, I don't know. It's kind of like a last. Do we want like a last send off before we get down to like this is where we're gonna stay. This is where we're gonna have a kid. This is how we're gonna progress with our life and kind of have that be our next experience. Yeah, that's the question, right? What do we want our next experience to be? Do we want it to be a kid? Do we want it to be travel? Listen, I both love to travel. We both want to see the world. Not that a kid stops it, but it doesn't give you the freedom that her and I have to just go sleep in a hostel or not worry about having the baby cry all night or have a negative um, experience because the kid's crying or whatever. So definitely in the talks lately, but not thinking, we're gonna have one now. It's still probably at minimum a year out. Once we get past the wedding, then I'm sure we'll come back to talk about this and see where we are in life. But yeah, it's a
yeah,
fun question and a good one. We're both thinking about it as well.
yeah. I mean, it's a weird thing to ask your friends, like, because I'm not like, you're not asking a ton of people because not a ton of our friends our age are at that moment, but there's people that are, and everyone goes about it differently, right? So it's always kind of curious of like, I've known people that are like, I've got to chop that tree down all the time, like got to cut the baby fever all the time, and I know other people are like, oh, I'm bringing it up all the time, and it's like, oh, okay, cool. So like, um, but yeah, no, it's so curious to see where you guys are at, and yeah, I mean, I'll always be the first one to be like, yeah, I think you're thinking about it the right way, and it makes sense in my head. So I was excited to basically see, you know, your next steps as always. But cool, yeah, just cool conversations, and obviously I know you guys are probably enjoying those conversations too. So no, that's
Yeah,
cool.
just something you got to talk
Um,
about, right?
yeah, you're probably better off talking about it than not talking about it for sure. Um, but Alyssa right now is down in she's down in Vegas right now for a bachelor party. What's that been like, man? Having the place to yourself, not fully to yourself because you have roommates, but Canada's
Yeah,
been flying solo the last couple days. What's that been like?
it's weird, dude. It's weird how much you like start to lean on a person or, just expect things a certain way. And I don't know, just little things like going to sleep at night. Like usually we'll talk until one of us is tired, and that's usually me, and falls asleep, and that's it. But now it's like I'll sit in the bed and I'll scroll on my phone or something, and it's like, what am I doing? Like, and I'll find myself staying up late just because I don't have like a cutoff point for my phone. So it's like I just find myself doing random stuff or having random thoughts and pulling out my phone, or um, just thinking about this podcast directions we want to go with, and pulling out my phone to type stuff up, or so it's just been that's a weird one. Obviously, I also lean on her in other ways, whether that be cooking or, it's nice to have someone else just to cut the chores in half, right? Like she usually does the cooking, I do the cleaning. So she leaves and now it's like I'm doing everything, she stays at home, does my laundry, and yeah, geez, dude, it's crazy how little I do, I guess. It's um no, it's just nice to have her around, and yeah, I definitely just miss the conversation in the company, and like coming home after work and like having someone excited to see you. And I still have Mac for that, which is great. We've become, we've developed a ritual of as soon as we get in the door, either one of us stops what we're doing and sprints to give each other a high five, which is probably shouldn't keep that, but which
Nah,
is pretty.
hey, man, I was thinking it, but I also was like, I'd probably do the same thing.
I don't think we can say it. What's something funny I could say that's not? Um, I don't know what to say for that.
Sounds pretty fun, man.
Maybe, yeah.
Sounds
Here,
super fun. It sounds like a super good idea that you guys came up with one day. I'm
yeah.
sure that was.
Dang, I ruined it. Yeah.
How does Alyssa greet you at the door? Like when you come home, you've mentioned before that like Alyssa's pretty pumped to see you. Does
Yeah.
she run to give you a high five, or how does that work?
Yeah. She'll usually give me a hug and stuff, and she's excited to see me, which is fun. It's like having a dog.
Yeah.
Two dogs.
Oh, you just
No,
call your
but
girlfriend a
love the
dog.
energy when I get home, and I gotta rush to put all my stuff down, and um, take my boots off that are usually kind of muddy and stuff. So uh, yeah, it's super nice to come home to them and have instant energy, and kind of pick me up after work. And so yeah, it's been great. Loving the energy in the house, and um, loving the flow we have.
Yeah, man. I think it's good. I think it's a nice kind of reminder of like you don't realize what you have until you kind of lose it. And not that you've like lost Alyssa, but it's like, oh man, like especially kind of going into your wedding, like it's the opposite of cold feet. It's like, oh man, this is why I'm doing it, right? This is why these are the things I look forward to. Someone to do my chores and someone to give me a high five at the door. Like I can't live life without that. So no, I think it's been good, man. I think that's kind of a good thing, and obviously I'm sure Alyssa's having a fantastic time. I'm sure she misses you a little bit, but I'm sure she's having a fantastic time hanging out with her friends. And um, no, man, that's good. Do you have any ideas for what you want to do with your flip flop roles and your guy time and your bachelor party or quote unquote party maybe or
Yeah, yeah, it's a little tougher for me. Alyssa uh, really only has. I'm not gonna say only has three friends, but she really only has three people in her um, on her side.
circle,
What am I trying to say? What is it?
inner circle?
Not not inner circle, but like
I would say that she's got
what
a tight circle.
she has. Yeah, that's good. Alyssa really has a tight circle, and so her party is only her, uh, Jules, Gigi, Elle, and that's it. Just three other girls. So pretty easier, not pretty easy, but easier for her to plan that because it's just a few people. Um, I've found that I am not good at losing friends. I've never had a person that has had a lot of friends, but it just seems like once you're my friend, you're kind of just in my life for forever. Like Abe, when did we meet? Second grade, first grade, and
Second.
Yeah, second grade, and we've been close friends ever since. Like it doesn't go away. Same thing with, I could name six, 10 other people that are similar to that. And so I feel like I've been really good friends with a few people, and like it just keeps stacking. As I move, I'll develop a close friendship with someone and bring them along. And I have guys that are going to be my groomsmen that are friends from Arizona, friends from Wisconsin, friends from Europe, and yeah, it's been a blast. So I have 10 people that I have asked to be my groomsmen, and so the bachelor party is not as easy because, like I said, I asked people from, all over the world, to be in it, and so it's like I don't want to. We're having our wedding in Mexico, which is already somewhat. I'm not going to say it's inconvenient. I'm not going to say that they're not excited. Everyone's happy to do it so far, but it isn't convenient. So I I didn't want to like inconvenience people even more and have a bachelor party wherever, right? Like it's gonna have to be a neutral destination no matter where it is, or someone's gonna have to travel. A good majority of the people are gonna have to travel. So I was like, let's not do one. I sat on that for a bit, and then I was like, okay, well, we're having the wedding in Mexico. Let's have everybody come. Every groomsman come 2 days early and just go on a little fishing, like a deep sea fishing trip or something, and we'll have spend the day, and we can do kind of party it up and just spend the day with all my close friends, and should be really fun. So definitely looking forward to it. It's not going to be as traditional as having it um, months in advance or whatever, but it'll be a good time nonetheless.
Yeah, I think it's genius. Like I think it's so genius. I wish I thought of the idea. But I mean, it's hard to ask people to come to your wedding in Mexico, and then ask them like basically like 6 months before, like, hey, come do this as well. Which basically everyone would have to travel for that. So I think it's genius, and yeah, just to get. I mean, all it takes is a day, and I haven't even thought about it until now. But like getting a bunch of I don't want to say random people, like the common link is you, right? But some people that have like maybe never even met each other, and just getting them all in this boat and being like, all right, like who can catch the biggest fish, who can catch the smallest fish, and like all the jokes that will kind of be said, and I think I know everyone in that party, and just knowing everyone in their own ways, like it's gonna be a pretty good time. Like I would say that's one of the more like excited parts I am for your wedding. Um, so I think it's good. I think that works out great, and yeah, for that I'm excited, and kudos to whoever thought of that, because that's pretty good. But
Thank
yeah,
you.
man,
It was me.
yeah, genius. Still
Hey,
haven't heard
stop.
anything about like what what I need to wear. Um, I
That's
was
not
told
true.
no, I was told Alyssa was going to send more information. That we have not got that more information.
Yeah, so
Uh,
the idea with that is, I want to make it simple. You don't even need shoes. Get your own white t-shirt, and we're gonna get matching pants of some sort, matching color. Alyssa wants to have three options because she thinks options is good. I think give guys one option, make it easy. But the idea behind waiting is like you can purchase it, and hopefully at the end of the wedding, maybe you can return them if you don't like them.
yeah,
I'm just trying to make everything cheap if you can, and so I feel like if we
I
go
think
ahead.
that's genius. I think I'm not telling you how to run your wedding at all. I think that's genius. You certainly are making it easy. I think you guys are doing like what, khaki pants. There's like you can get like nice khaki pants on Amazon for like $30, and then they would be all the same like khaki, but like the white shirt. Some white shirts have pockets, some don't. Some like are cheaper than others. Like some will be able to see through, some won't be able to see through. Like I'm a little worried that if you have 8 dudes there, 3 are gonna have pockets. 2 are gonna have like thin material that they can see like kind of everything. One. There's gonna be 1 or 2 that have like a different collar, and I'm not sure how. I'm not sure. I know it's okay
That's all
with you.
right.
I'm sure.
We're all different, man. Why do we all have to be the same? What's the
I
fun in that?
didn't know that.
If you want
Just
to
didn't
add
know
some
what the
swag
goal
to
was for.
your plain white shirt, then go ahead. But I don't know. We'll see.
I'm gonna,
That's
I'm
the
gonna
idea
put.
for now. Maybe that'll change.
I'm gonna get a super cheap white shirt, and then on the right side, like get it like embroidered like like some stupid comment in black. So like when you see me up at the podium, like up at the in the front, like you can't see it because it's on that one side that you can't see. Then the rest of the day, it's just like some stupid like juicy or like like some stupid comment just on the right side. Or maybe like I mean I'll put Coast to Coast podcast on there. do some
There you go.
do some
Get some views.
uh but no, just something to think about. But again, ultimately we're everyone's so excited. It's been I know Alec and I talked about it a little bit the other day. Just kind of how pumped we were. So for that's awesome, man. But yeah, anything else you've been got going on in Seattle?
That's about it, man. Fall's ending, came and went. Like I always joke that it was fast in the Midwest and super fast in the Midwest, and definitely not as fast here, but still just feels like it's a blink of an eye. You're like, oh, there's berries, and then you're like, okay, there's some colorful trees, and now all of a sudden you look around, it's like I think there's tree or leaves hitting the window as we speak. So yeah, crazy that it's just over already, and it's definitely turning into winter up here. I haven't seen the sun in a while, and been a lot more gloomy with some rain. So yeah, it's been fun. So Abe, you've had a lot of change since we last talked. Or I guess there was a lot of change when we last talked. What has been developing over there in Arizona?
Yeah, and the Casa de Elmore. Been back in Arizona for a couple weeks now. Last time we did a catch-up pod, I was in Idaho. Kind of talked about what was going on in life, and I guess to kind of piggyback off that, living at home, living with my mom. My dad still works mostly up in Idaho. He's just got so many projects that he wants to stay up there for kind of weeks at a time. He still comes. I'd say he comes down like a week. He'll be home for the holidays, and I'll kind of pop in on certain weekends if there's stuff going on. So, my parents have been living kind of this like my mom's a snowbird, I would say, like pretty consistently, but they're living this kind of cool life where they are separate sometimes, but I think again they've spent so many years together. I think it's been kind of good for them to like like kind of be away for a little bit. And it's like, oh, even my mom's made comments of like, oh, like I can't wait to see your dad, which is, you don't hear comments like that because my parents have been happily married for 30 something years and like they've never been apart. So so that's been cool. Been aspect, but yeah, the really cool part is that I just been living at home with my mom. They graciously opened my room back up to me for the foreseeable future, which is, I mean, say what you want. I know I'm 25, moving back in with my parents, but I'm pretty stoked about it. Spent like a week, moved back, came back from Idaho, went right away to Virginia Beach for a weekend, and came back and spent like an entire week trying to, my room became a storage closet basically for my mom's stuff. So like, having that conversation with mom, like, hey, this is this is coming out. Like I need a room back. I just went from a pretty spacious condo, to a room now. Like I'm gonna need as much space as I possibly can get. And so just been, again, I spent a week of unpacking, laundry, organizing, decluttering, and just making my room kind of my room again from the storage / guest bedroom it became when I was gone. And I had way more fun with that than I thought I would. I feel like I have a pretty cool room. I've got 2 giant ass whiteboards in my room that we like painted on the wall. I basically have like a wall whiteboard. So like just making, cleaning those up, making them my own. trying to fit everything in my closet because apparently I have a ton of clothes now, which is crazy because I got rid of a lot of clothes before I even moved back. So kind of going through that, and when you haven't lived in a space for so long and you have a bunch of new stuff, like I remember telling my mom, I was like, I don't know where stuff goes. Like I don't even know where to put stuff. Because I was a child basically living in that room, and now 25. Like my stuff is like I have different stuff now, and I'm like I don't know where to put this, and I don't know where to put that, and I've got to find a way to put a desk in here, and my mom like loves. It's the only full in the house, like the full size bed. So like we only have like a very few sheets, and like all those sheets were like warm ass sheets because everyone visits in the wintertime, and I'm like, dude, I need like cool sheets like year round. And my mom was like, why? Like you pampered bitch. And I was like, no, I swear, like I need I need cool sheets. And so like, it feels like I'm legitimately moving back into like another apartment, but it's just my room. So that's been awesome. Really enjoyed that. My mom's been kind of giving me tasks that have kind of happened over time at the house. And she's like, hey, you need to fix this, you need to fix that. So been obviously graciously doing that. Yeah, I have no problem doing that. There's certainly a limit to my expertise in fixing stuff, but fixed a water heater, fixed a few of the plumbing appliances, and I did a leak in the yard with my dad. So I'm kind of the I don't want to say gardener, but like what's like the
Maintenance man.
I'm the maintenance man, like freaking fixer guy here now. So which is great. And my parents, they won't be here at all in the summertime. And again, they kind of came out of their way and like, hey, please stay here as long as you like, especially in the summertime. Like we'd love to have someone kind of have eyes in the house. And I don't understand it, but I do get it. Like when the house is typically the most expensive thing that you have. And when you don't see that thing at all for like 7 months, like I'd be pretty stressed about it too. So, but yeah, and then just living with my mom, like haven't seen my mom. I only see her for the holidays. So to see her, every day has been such a blast. We had a great time, traveling from Georgia to here, and it's really just good vibes have really continued. We're both currently unemployed, and so we have a lot of time in our hands, and we're certainly filling it up. We play a lot of. We've been gaming Farkle. We've probably played 100 games of Farkle since I've been back. Gambling on chores, things to do in the house.
What was that? Gambling on what?
Who's cooking? Chores.
Oh, chores.
Food,
Gotcha.
Yeah, jobs, things to do in the house. A lot of who's cooking, who's cleaning, and so it's been pretty. I don't want to say it's been pretty even. I think I've been winning a little bit more, but yeah, so fun to just kind of hang out. Like I don't want to say caught up for like lost time, because she's always my mom, but certainly been spending a lot of time with mom, and it's been fantastic. And living with your mom at 25 is cool. I mean, it's cool to say if you have a cool mom. I think everyone that knows Jennifer Elmore, she's known for being pretty cool in other things, but mostly being cool. And so it's been a blast. And I think my dad appreciates me being here with my mom, and numerous other people have told me that my mom was pretty excited. So that's awesome. And then, yeah, what else has been going on? We went to, regardless of if I moved back or not, I was going to come to Arizona the 15th of November. My old boss sadly passed away at Silverado. So we had a celebration of life there, and to run into a bunch of people that I haven't seen in years. And as far as they knew, there was, hey, Abe went to Atlanta to go do insurance and to catch up with people and surprise people like, hey, I moved back like 2 weeks ago. It was a weird feeling. Like it's a cool feeling because you're telling people that you came back, and people are excited, and these are people that basically like my work family. Like people that have seen me since I was like, 2 years old, and kind of see me growing up, and people kind of stopping in and out of my life in different times, but obviously just terrible circumstances of something like that to kind of catch up with people. But I think it's kind of said best in the name of just like celebration of life. Like, he was a great guy, and to hear some of the stories and even hear like comments he made about me, like, certainly made, brought a tear to my eye of like, I worked with him, a lot of the days, and to hear that he talked about me outside of work, like that's really cool. And again, like a lot of people had just so many kind words to say that day. So that was nice, and certainly good to see a bunch of people. Again, always, under kind of bad circumstances, but good to see that. And people certainly welcomed me back to Silverado with a bunch of open arms. Played golf there yesterday with Alec. Alec called me Thursday, literally in the middle of an interview. Called him after the interview. And he's like, "Hey man, how'd your interview go? Oh, by the way, can you play golf tomorrow? And oh, also, do you have any connections out here?" And so I did. Do still thankfully have connections out here. I shouldn't say connections. I should just say connection. I have one place that will always kind of be a home to me, and they graciously kind of open the doors to me and play golf on kind of a not rainy, but cloudy, overcast, I would say bad day in Arizona. So I didn't feel bad about taking a tee time because it wasn't super busy. But yeah, man, got to play golf with Alec. Haven't played golf since God bless you. Haven't played golf since July, I believe. I could be wrong in that, but I believe it was July. Didn't think it was that long ago, but it was. It was just good to get back on the golf course. It certainly didn't scratch the itch of like, oh, I want to go play a ton of golf now, but it was good to be like, oh, I still have some good golf in me. It probably only takes a couple of weeks to get back good. Just again, not like to where I was before, but I still have good golf in me, which is cool. And enjoy that. So, and now I like to see Alec on the golf course. He would laugh at me to say this, but like to see someone out of his element is hilarious. Like, he runs around the golf course, and I'm like, you look like an idiot. And I don't know. We had a great time. And he started to take not criticism, but like tips from me now, which he didn't do before. So excited to see where his golf game goes, because it's probably gonna get a lot better. But yeah, to spend a day with
What's
him.
he shooting nowadays?
I don't know any shot. He didn't want to get the scorecard. I think it was like 105 or something like that. So he had some good shots. He certainly listened to the last thing I told him, which was probably like a year ago, but now he overcorrected it. So now I probably got to spend another day with Alec, probably at the range, just trying to help him out. And I'm not sure if Alec was cut out for the range. His patience level, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that would go. We've done it before, and it was crazy. But we'll probably do that again. He likes to play golf. I think he enjoys it. So that was fun. And his brother's playing golf, and he was like, "Hey, you need to go link up with Luke and help him out." And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely, I'd love to." So Blakeman's are good. Played Magic the other day with them. That went well. I lost, but like it was fun. Good to see the Blakeman crew, Alec, Connor, and Luke. So, and then yeah, going back into the interview. Still currently jobless. I think I've done over 100 job applications. You get a few phone screenings from that, and then from that you get a few less interviews. And an interview with the company that you worked with before, which was pretty cool to find out that you did work for them. I haven't had an interview for a while. Before the interviews I've had, at this time, I didn't interview at Louder Combs. I didn't interview for my full-time job at State Farm. I interviewed, which was a Zoom interview, like 4 years ago. Yeah, 4 years ago, 2021. And it was like 30 minutes. It was like nothing. It was nothing. And so, yeah, to show up to a place and there's like 5 people in the room, and and I was like, oh wow, there's a lot of people here. And they start peppering you with questions. Like I'm not afraid to say that I was pretty nervous. And I think that's good. I'm never one to shy away from nerves, but when it's a job that you want at a company that you want and you care, like, I think that's good. But yeah, super nervous, super rusty at interviews, which is crazy because I'm pretty good at talking. But I think aspects of it went well. I think aspects of it, I drove home and was like, I should have said this, should have said that, or whatever. But we'll see. I mean, I've got another week, they said, to hear back from them. So, but it's good. I think regardless if I get it or not, it's just good to go through the reps. I think mentally, I'm not expecting too much from it, but like I almost wanted to like go do like 1,000 interviews and then go do like another interview at a place that like I feel equally as nervous and excited for, which is fine. And I'm cool with whatever that comes from it. But yeah, man, the hiring process is so fun. I think I'm in a good position where I obviously love a job tomorrow, but I've kind of created a cushion where I don't need a job tomorrow. So it's been fun. It's been fun. It's an exciting chapter. And I was kind of telling my mom yesterday, like, I'm, on the first page of my, new chapter right now. And I feel like it's the best chapter to come. So like, that's been so exciting. You can kind of just feel it in the air that like, exciting things are starting to come. So just doing my absolute best not to get ahead of myself, but I'm excited, certainly just so pumped to be back in Arizona. Pumped to kind of, I want to say rekindle, but catch up with people that I haven't seen for years. Meet a bunch of new people and kind of start what I was doing in Georgia, honestly, out here, and kind of building a network and a community. I knew we talked about community with Kason a lot the other day, but yeah, man, just so excited for what's to come. And it's been awesome. It's been awesome to be back. And again, I think everything's just been reassuring that I'm exactly where I should be. So
Good, man.
that was a long spiel, man.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
sure
you went on for a while, but that's good. Back to the interview.
yeah.
I remember last time you were interviewing. I don't remember when it was. I think it might have been right before you were moving to Georgia. You kind of looked around for other spots. But I remember you got a question that was, if you were a kitchen appliance, what would you be? And you
Yeah, what,
answered,
what was that for? I'm trying to think of a job that was for, but I totally remember that. That's right. Okay, so I've been in an interview right before I went to State Farm, right before Georgia. So what I just said was a lie. But yes, continue with the story because this is
yes.
funny.
And Abe, you know, out of all the options, what did you pick, Abe?
So yeah, so like it was a 3-person interview. So it was literally 2 other people and me in this interview with the person that was interviewing us. I hope that makes sense to you. And they were 2 girls, and they both went before me. And the question was like, if you were a kitchen appliance, what would you be? Or a kitchen item. And one girl said, like a spatula, because it was like the most important thing in the kitchen, or something like that, right? And I know spatula doesn't sound great, but like she explained it super well. I think the other person said a knife because like you need she was like the sharpest in the room, like needed to cut, in order to, you got to break things down in order to build them up. And I was like, God, what a genius answer. And I've had all this time to like think about it. What I said either blender or whisk. I forget what it was, but
You said whisk.
said whiz because I like to mix things up. I like to whip things around and keep everyone on their toes or something stupid.
Yeah. It's funny
So,
looking back at questions like that. You're like, oh, I could have said this or shouldn't have said that. Do you have any questions that threw you off in this last interview, or any good ones where you feel like you nailed it?
100% did I mess up on something. They were asking me, they had a lot of like great questions, which is good, but I went on a spiel of like how I like to learn things, and that's something that like really drives me. And I'm in the middle of like learning a ton of new stuff. Like I'm running for the first time, like I'm swimming a lot, like kind of getting into like the whole endurance things, and like I just moved back, and then I learned all these things in Atlanta, and without like hesitating, the woman was like, "Oh, what's the most recent thing that you've learned?" And I, for like a minute, was just like, what? And like I've replaced a water heater, like I just fixed like the thing outside and the sprinkler, like freaking editing podcasts, like started a podcast. It was the first week of like us releasing our first episode, so like I had all these things in the bank, and I was like, hold on, last thing I learned. So it seemed like my answer was total BS of like, this kid's not learning anything. And I panicked, and I was like, oh, like the last thing I learned was chess, which I've known chess for a while, but I was like, I've got to say something, because I can't think of the most recent thing I've learned, so I've got to say something I've learned. So I said chess, and she's like, oh, great. And I was like, I didn't do it, but like internally, I was just like, you're so stupid. But
Why?
yeah, yeah,
You
and then
just
like
want to
saying a
kick a
podcast,
puppy.
yeah, no, but like yeah, saying a podcast would have been perfect. Like even like I just had a dog. Like I've been, I didn't train the dog, but like I certainly did like all the stuff after training with this dog. Like so like I was just like I kept it cool on the outside after that, but on the inside I was pulling my hair. It was like, oh
Yeah.
god.
Yeah,
Um,
dude, interviewing's tough because it's like, you have so many thoughts going through your head and you're trying to find the best one, and sometimes you fumble like that. But yeah, it's always funny
yeah,
hearing people's questions and like uh just coming up with fun answers for them. And yeah, I don't remember any good ones I had with ISEC, but I remember they had some goofy one. I don't remember what it was, but
yeah. There was that one. I won't go into the other one, but there's that one and another question that I didn't answer like super great. And of course, like when you're in a setting like that, you don't remember the good things you said. Like you only remember the bad things. And so I know with how I am, and like I gave great answers, but I only remember the bad ones. I only remember those two things, and I'm like, God, the whole drive home, I was like planning on calling like two people to catch up with people on the way back, but I was like, I can't think about anything else other than those two questions. Like crank the music up as high as I could to like not have any thoughts in my head. Um, but we'll see. I mean, again, they said right now is a weird time. We got holiday week, it's a short week next week. They said that they were hoping to get through all their first round interviews, this week, but it floated in the next week. So I won't find out if I have a second interview until after the holiday. So I get to simmer on those bad questions. Not that I've been simmering on it for the last couple of days, but I get to simmer on that for basically another 2 weeks. Another 2 weeks. So that's great. But no. Yeah, hopefully it goes well. And honestly, I hope for the day that I get to interview people because let me tell you, I'm never going to forget some of the interviews I've had. And I think that's fun. I think it's fun to ask a bunch of people questions and try to get a gauge for them. And even the head interviewer is like, I like to throw people off. And I was like, that's great. Like, so do I. Like, I'm the exact same. I love a little bit of chaos. So
yeah, it does. It's a fun time interviewing. There's so many funny things that are going on, and I think even the interviewers are a little nervous. I had one interviewer go, "Hey, I'm Cannon. Nice to meet you." And they said that, and I was like, "Really? Your name's Cannon?" He's like, "No, it's Tim. I don't know why I said that. I messed up. I'm sorry." It's like it was actually a great strategy because like instantly
yeah,
I'm like, feeling, oh, he knows my name. He's thought about it. Like he makes mistakes. I'm good to make mistakes now. And I was like, that's an interesting tactic. I wonder if he does that on everyone or if he truly just messed up. Um, but yeah, there's just so many fun times. Just it's kind of fun to, brainstorm, and they ask you questions, and you get to talk about yourself a little bit. And I find that it's hard to like boast about myself almost. Like you want to because you're interviewing and you want to be like, this is why I'm a good candidate and all that. But it's also like, you know, I've always tried to be a humble person, so it's a weird medium for me. Do you have any questions when they hit you with any questions at the end? Do you ever respond to that, or is it always like no, like
I was told you have to. Like I was told that like
okay?
you better like have something good up your sleeve.
So what's your
Um,
go-to?
I've had one for a while. And my uncle is a recruiter, and he was like, "Hey, like you should probably like this is probably something that you should say." And it's not word for word, but it goes along like this, where it's like, I want to tell people my secrets. And maybe this, I mean, if I don't get the job, then maybe don't take this, but tune in a couple weeks to find out if it worked or not. But um, you ask him, it's like, hey, let's imagine that this interview went well and you hire me. What would it take from me a year from now for you to look back and say that this was a successful hire? And the reason why this is good is because the first line is, all right, like, let's imagine that this interview went well. You've already told them, you've basically pictured in their mind now that this interview went well. And it's like the last thing that they kind of thought about. And then you're basically they're giving you the blueprint where if you do get the job, what's it look like for you to, make you look like successful and exactly what they want, right? Because there's nothing worse than hiring someone. It's like, like I don't know. So they're gonna give you a blueprint of what you need to do in the first year of working there. And I think that's, like when I think about that, I think like that's great, right? Let's play some Jedi mind tricks and implant that this interview went well, no matter how bad some of the answers I did, into their heads, and then let's find out what I need to do, or to basically look back and be like, hey, this was a great hire. So that's one that I've always used, and then it never got brought up, but I think it's super important, and I've learned this at Laudermilk. But I asked them what their work culture was like. So I saw like there's a lot of culture on their website, so they cared about it, but it never got brought up in the interview. And that's something I'm always just a little bit curious about. Of how do your employees like it here? How do they treat it? Is it a place where you clock in at 9, you get done at 5, and you don't talk to anyone else, or do you care about if someone's do you have some coworkers that are rooting for other people at a marathon or something like that? So like I looked and I asked that towards more of the employees instead of like the main boss there that was interviewing, but and kind of got their thoughts and feelings on it, because I think that's important. I think you spend 40 hours a week with those people, sometimes more. Is the vibe, hey, it's not 9 to 5, it's kind of a full-time gig, which is, I say full-time, but like you're kind of always working, which some people like that, some people don't. And then how do you treat people there? Like I know corporate America is kind of a big like, oh my god, like we're family, and like I think that's a little bit too far, but certainly like I want to know what's going on in my fellow employees' lives. And you never know who's there, and you want to meet people there. But gosh, man, if someone was doing with the Ironman was just in Arizona, if someone was doing the Ironman, I'd freaking go watch them. Like that's awesome. Like it's something that doesn't seem like a lot, but I'd take an hour or two out of my Saturday to go cheer you on over something that you've been working at for months, maybe years. So I know that's kind of a bit extreme with that instance like that, but I just think that's so important. And we were really close at Laudermilk, and a lot of guys, we text outside of work, and there's a lot of golf tips I was giving around, and even one of the guys was like, hey man, like I heard you're a good golfer. Like I wasn't supposed to be here, but I'm going to ask you some of the questions. So, like that stuff matters. Like, there's guys that go play golf after work, and that there's a lot of people like that at State Farm during my internship. And so I asked that as well. I try to get a gauge. It's not something I always ask at the end, but it's something I try to get a gauge for at some point, just out of curiosity. Not that it's a deal breaker, but I think it's important to know.
Yeah, for sure. I really like your other question. Getting them to envision you with the company for a year. That's a good one. The one I always use is you know, you, we're having a face-to-face interview. You must have liked me for some reason. What did you like about me that brought me in here? And it kind of forces them to show like why they
Yeah.
like you, and it's giving them a reason to say things good about you, and it's making them realize that like, oh, this is a good fit and a good candidate. So I think those two paired might be a really good one, getting them to envision or like why they like you and why they want you there, and then getting them to envision the future with
It.
you.
I'm so glad that you said it because it feels like legitimately feels like poker. Like it feels like you're playing poker at this giant table, and you're like, it's like you're trying to like, hey man, like what's in your hand? Like, and so asking them that question, it's like, all right, man, like show me your hand. Like, because they're so like they don't tell you why they want you. They're trying to figure out why they don't want you. So I think that's a great point. Certainly
Yeah,
gonna write that
no,
down.
it's a fun game to play. I always enjoyed it, and you're totally right. It takes reps. Your first one, you're gonna have questions like that where you're gonna answer chess, and it's like but next time, you'll have that ready, and you just gave four other options you could have had. So it's fun. It's fun to really master it, and I feel like at least when I was interviewing for places up here, it was like by the end of it, I felt like I was a really good interviewer, and really, could have landed any interview I was able to get. Getting the interviews were the hard part, though. That's for sure.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I feel like I'm a great interviewer. I know what I just said contradicts that, but I mean I'm actually like a pretty good success rate on once I do get an interview. My grandfather always told me because he was the police chief captain up in Idaho, and so like when he was doing a lot of his interview stuff for like all the like promotions, you go through so many screenings. You go through a call, you go through interview one, and you go through interview two. And he's like it sounds so simple, but like just be honest, like be honest and sincere. If you say something in the phone screening and you say something different in interview one, they're gonna catch it. And obviously, like they're the police, what he was doing it for, so like they're gonna catch it more than others. But like, just don't be someone that you're not. I know that sounds super cliche, corny, but like, please be honest because they will sniff it out. I don't care. I mean, some people are good liars, and I get that, but it's way easier to tell the truth. So do that. That's my another tip. Is just say the truth. Be honest, and because they'll sniff it out.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's a good one. Simple is good. Yeah, but
this
so
is
you
stupid.
exactly, kiss. Cool, man. Well, it was really good catching up with you. It seems
Yeah,
like you have a lot of stuff going on, a lot of change, and it's exciting times, man. Soak it up.
I just really want a job, but yeah, I'm really enjoying the unemployed life. Getting played golf on 9 o'clock on a Friday, which is pretty abnormal. Just a bunch of old dudes out there. I'm like, man, just weird. But still good to be back. Came at the right time. Holiday season. It's nice weather here. It's been raining, but it's just nice weather, nice winter time here. And yeah, I'm excited to see what's next with everything, literally every aspect. I'm excited for that. So excited to see you in a week, less than a week, and next time we see each other, we'll be on Boulder Mountain Park. So for that, I'm excited.
Yeah, good. Hope you brought your cleats. All right,
Oh, I
man.
brought my
Good talking
cleats.
to you.
Yep, you too, man.
Bye.